We want it bin.
I have spoken.
Morning, Jason.
Morning, my friend. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Oh, it was a week.
Yeah. How's your wife?
She's doing much better.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
So I guess I'll do a quick wrap up of my crazy week.
Yeah, man.
If you remember last week, I was driving up to Charlotte and the that was a crazy day too because the buck hoist wasn't working. That's the elevator that goes outside the building.
Uh-huh.
My company's building a skyscraper, kind of. It's not that tall, but I did have to climb like 17 flights of stairs, which is actually closer to like 20 because of whatever. But it was exhausting, and so I finally get my video done, and I get down to my desk, and I find out that my wife is in excruciating pain and needs to be rushed to the ER and needs to get her gallbladder out. So I had to race home from Charlotte early and get to her and take care of the kids. And luckily I have my in-laws in town, so they took care of that. But then on Tuesday, or it was Wednesday, come home and there is water dripping in my garage from all of that rain we were experiencing.
Uh-huh.
The water was somehow coming through the roof. It busted down a ceiling in one of the closets. So I'm just dealing with a lot this week, but my wife is fine.
Awesome.
Shit. That's a long way to say. It was a crazy week. A lot happened, but my wife is fine.
Oh, that's awesome.
She's home.
Said you pick anything up this week?
Yeah, I got a lot this week.
Did you? I actually did pretty good myself. How was your May the 4th other than everything else? All the
Good.
crap.
After I came home from the hospital, I stopped at Publix and I got the stuff to make Yoda soda, which is green sherbet and Sprite. So the kids had Yoda soda. And then I bought a half gallon of milk and dyed it blue, added some vanilla. So we had blue milk, which is just basically vanilla milk dyed blue, like I said. But
Great. Better than the crap at Galaxy's Edge.
yep. But I mean, there was all that. We'll get into it in the news, I guess, because there was why am I having a dry throat all of a sudden? Hold on. Oh, another happy landing. So yeah, there was all this stuff that happened on Hasbro Pulse, so I'll get to that. But I did get a Leia Bespin Escape, which I forgot that I ordered from Hasbro like a year ago.
Oh, geez.
So I have that. So now I have two of them, but now I have trade bait for the June 5th toy swap.
Yeah. I hate those pre-orders just because of that.
And then the same thing happened with Bo-Katan. I didn't realize I pre-ordered her.
So you get the 6-inch Bo-Katan?
Yeah.
An extra one? Save that for me.
Okay.
I'll probably pick that up from you or whatever, unless you get some,
No, if you want, you can have it.
Yeah, cool. I'll pick that up from you. Awesome.
Yeah, I also got I got two TVC Childs, one for the Razor Crest when that shows up, and one for the card. I also got the Tentative 4 playset. Went on sale on Amazon for like $30 on May 4th,
Uh-huh.
which was typically like $55, $60. So I picked that up, and then finally, Disney just dropped some new Starbucks Been There series mugs for Batuu, Tatooine, and I think Endor.
Right.
So I picked those up.
Nice.
How about you?
What all did I get? Actually, the only thing I think I got was a Star Wars related was May the 4th. I picked up a Razor. Actually, there's a couple of things that picked up the Lego Razor Crest. They had it on treasure truck for like $100.
Wow.
So my wife picked that up for me. She sent me an email or a text message. She's like, "Do you want this?" And I was like, "Duh." And then they also had a contest on Instagram and to win a Razor Crest, and I won it.
Wait, what Razor Crest?
The Lego Razor Crest.
Oh, so you have two of them.
So I have two Lego. I as soon as the second one gets here, I'll return one to Hasbro. I mean to Amazon, unless I find somebody.
Save that for 3 years. You can like $600-700.
Well, that's what I thought. I thought they'd be a little bit more, but yeah, I thought they had discontinued them, but I guess they didn't, or they re-released them or something, because I thought they were going for a couple of $100. But
That's awesome, man.
yeah. And then I also won from Minute Fet on Instagram, won one of his contests. So I got a bucket, which is a great looking bucket, but then I get it home. It came in yesterday, and I went to try it on, and obviously I have a bigger head than I thought because it doesn't fit.
I'm sorry, did the Hasbro one fit?
The Hasbro one fit. I had to take the halo out of it, but it fits. I mean, it's a little bit big on me. And if I put padding in it, I think I can get it to fit. I know I can get it to fit better if I threw some padding in it, but yeah, the Hasbro one fits good.
So is this a custom?
Yeah, this is like a custom cast. It's actually like the dad bod Fet, the repaint. And I mean, it's a cool looking helmet. And I'm really upset it don't fit because I was kind of working it into some cosplay idea, but oh well.
Yeah, that's good for you. Congratulations on winning those.
You. And I also picked up the retro. I picked up a retro Mando and the Child. I walked into one of my Targets that I've always had good luck at, and they had a full set there. But I picked up the Cara Dune and the Krill for the club because we needed it for a contest we're doing, and then I just picked up a Mando and the Child for me because I couldn't justify spending, buying it for something that it looks cool, but I didn't really want all of them.
Yeah. I'm getting a little nervous because I pre-ordered those from Hasbro Pulse, and I have no doubt that I'm eventually going to get it. It's just, Entertainment Earth and Big Bad Toy Store have already shipped those out. They're appearing in stores, and it's like the window of finding a second set if I need to is getting shorter.
Right.
But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. It'll pop up. I don't know. The retro stuff, it'll pop up. Somebody will have an extra set or something.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm going to get it, like I said, through Hasbro Pulse. I have faith that they're not going to cancel orders. There hasn't been like any big mess ups yet with Hasbro Pulse, so I don't see why they would start now. I hope, knock on wood.
Right. I don't think they will. They got to keep that their good name going. But speaking of retro stuff, this is kind of touching on the news, unless you want to wait till the news. That retro Fet, pre-production is, I guess, is what they're calling it, Fet.
It's like retro, pre-production. I think that's right. Yeah,
the one like they did with the Vader with all the different pieces on it.
Yeah.
Target sold out before it even went live.
Yeah, it was sold out in 2 minutes, is what I was told.
Jeez. And I was watching it on the Target site.
I had it up. So I had my work computer up, and I was able to pull it up on my work computer, but then, and it said like, pre-order and stuff, but I wasn't signed in. So by the time I would, place the order in my cart and then sign in and then give the credit card information, all that stuff, I just didn't think I would get it in time. So then I pulled it up on the app, and by the time I pulled it up on the app, it was gone. Yeah.
That's sort of what happened to me with the retro Fet, the 6-inch from Hasbro Pulse, because I didn't know I had my wife's credit card with me, and I kept putting my name in it, and it kept rejecting it. And by the time I figured it out and had it all fixed, it was sold out. So,
yeah, I mean, that July 26th, or 25th, I'll be banging on Target's door trying to get one of those things.
I have learned, because when they did the Vader version, they kept re-releasing it. So I just liked it on the Target app, and if you just pay attention, it'll let you notify you when they restock it. So if you're fast, you could probably restock it. I think if you're diligent, you'll be okay getting it, but you're just going to have to stay on top of it.
Unfortunately, yeah. Yeah, it's an investment of time to try to get these things nowadays.
Right.
But I plan on doing that. I'll check the Target app every day, and then I'll go July 25th. I heard that the retro Darth Vader's already shot up in price to like $100 because now people want both of them.
Right. I sold mine for $100 like 6-7 months ago. So it's been $100 for a minute. It's been between 70 and 100 depending on who buys it, depending on the day. But it was one of those where I looked at it and it's like I can get 100. The typical when you're trying to buy something else or make room, you figure out it's worth triple what you paid for it or quadruple, 4 times what you paid for it. So time to get rid of it.
There's like 30 different variants. So people like to collect the variants of that figure, the Darth Vader one. So I just anticipate that with Boba Fett.
Oh yeah.
And they're not even really prototypes, because that's not how prototypes are made. It was just like the legs should be red and the arms should be purple and the body should be, a different color. It's not like each mold is a different color. I've never seen a prototype like that.
Right. Well, you know what they remind me of? I don't know, about 20, 30 years ago, Volkswagen did a golf like that where each panel was a different color.
Mm.
So it reminds me of that golf.
Yeah. How's the meetup?
The meetup was fun. It was fun getting out and seeing people and seeing Star Wars like that outside. Your backyard set up nice. My wife was like, I want to do this in my backyard.
Yeah. She was talking about like, we could put a screen up on the deck, and she was getting excited about the ideas.
Right. And then she's like, well, we have this, but it's screened in. I'm like, basically.
That's even better, because then you have to deal with the mosquitoes.
Oh, that was, yeah. They weren't too bad, but my wife said she got eaten up a little bit.
No, they get worse back there because of the creek. So come June, July, August, it's just, we can't do that. It's something we have to do in the spring and then the fall. Just because of the mosquitoes.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it's going to be too hot to do that come July anyway.
Yeah. So, but anyways, we're doing Back to the Future tonight.
Awesome. I love that movie. And people, I mean, I've said it before and I'll say it again, that the only reason Star Wars is on the forefront for me versus like Back to the Future is because just the amount of Star Wars stuff you can get versus Back to the Future stuff.
Yeah.
I love both these movies, both sets of movies equally.
Yeah. Marty McFly is just the teenager we all wanted to be.
Yeah.
Nothing gets him down. The world's just possibilities and opportunities. You just got to make it for yourself.
Right. Yeah. Plus, that was the movie that I remember, that movie in theaters and stuff, where Star Wars, I remember Return of the Jedi, but this, that was like the coming of age movie, I guess. Cause I was probably 9 or 10 when that movie came out.
Yeah.
So it sticks with me better than the Star Wars movies does.
I distinctively remember, I was 5 when that movie came out, because that was 85. I distinctively remember going to the movie theater with my mom, my dad, my brother, and my grandmother. My mom and dad went to go see Back to the Future, and my grandmother took me to see Bambi. And I remember looking up at the sign saying, but I want to see that movie. No, I had to go see Bambi.
Damn.
I remember it so distinctively. But
that's sort of like the time when I was in New Orleans visiting my grandmother, and she wanted to go to a movie, and I tried to take her to see Ted, and she's like, no, I'm going to go see the new Medea movie. So I had to sit through a Medea movie with my grandmother. And then she looks at me and goes, that man and that lady, they sure do look alike.
And the director and the writer and the producer.
They all look alike. What's up with that? I'm
the owner of the set. They all look alike.
Like, because that's him. He's the same guy. And she's just, he's so funny.
He's a powerhouse. That man could do anything.
Yeah. Going back to my UPS package that I was griping about last week that came in at 7 and didn't show up.
Yeah.
It showed up yesterday afternoon.
Wow.
And then I figured, I watched it go from here, then it went up to Nashville, then it came back to here, and then it like went in and out and in and out and in and out from a couple of different places. I guess the same place. And it just threw me off. I had no clue why it was doing that. And then when I get it, the lady who sent it to me didn't take off the original shipping label. So she reused a box and didn't take off her shipping label. The person who shipped it to her didn't take that label off.
Oh, geez.
So there were 2 shipping labels on the box. So I'm just thankful I got it.
Yeah, I am too. That's not fun.
No. And it's a Mother's Day present. So it's like it had to be here before this weekend.
Just in time.
Yes. Thankfully, it's all in good shape. And yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I offered to give it to her yesterday, and she's like, nope, it has to wait.
She likes to open her presents on Christmas morning.
Yes, I do too. It's kind of fun. Speaking of which, I want to say to all the moms that listen, Happy Mom's Day.
Yes, Happy Mother's Day. It's all the Padmes and Leias and
Mara Jades.
Mara Jades, yeah. Happy Mother's Day.
Yes.
So we do some news.
Yeah, let's do it, man. There's a lot going on this week, man.
There
It was a
is.
good week for Star Wars
It
news.
was. I'll start with ICCC because they haven't announced the dates yet, but Ian McDermott, the Emperor himself, will be attending in 2022.
That's pretty exciting. That's a big name for him.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's going to be cool to kind of check that out. That might be the first time I'm like, I definitely need a autograph or a photo or something like that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because I know at least he's a Star Wars guy, because when William Shatner was up there, nobody really cared because we're all Star Wars people.
Yeah. Do a Star Wars, man, and I'll listen.
Yeah.
The fan vote is in and the Republic Trooper won.
Do you think that's rigged?
I think so, because it's just crazy how what was the last time they did this with the 40th anniversary Empire Strikes Back. Lobot seemed to be in the lead, and then all of a sudden Luke Dagobah won, and all of a sudden they already had a prototype in production. Sometimes I feel like they do like at the last minute fix it.
Yeah.
But I don't know why Ahsoka wouldn't have won. I mean, that's frustrating because it's a $700, $800 figure at this point, and I mean, that's out of my price range.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could think. Well, if they don't care about the quote unquote scalpers. They do this stuff so that the people can't scalp it, but I don't know. I don't know why they would have not let Ahsoka win, but whatever. Yeah. I definitely, I feel it's rigged because, people wanted Wigway and to the Republic Trooper. I mean, unless people are going to army build them.
Yeah, I mean, Republic Trooper, you could have an army of those guys, I guess. It could be specialized troopers. I don't have one, so I'm happy that there's another hole in my collection I'll be able to fill. But yeah, I'm disappointed Ahsoka didn't win because that's a lot of money.
Yeah, and I also want to go back from you went last week or a couple of weeks ago. Whenever we talked about scalping versus the market.
Yeah,
we're seeing scalping right now because people are getting that retrofit and throwing on an eBay for $100.
Yes.
So we are watching scalping right in front of us as we speak.
Yeah, that's more than 100%. So yeah, I mean that's just ridiculous too. Same thing with the Razor Crest.
Yeah. How much is that going for right now?
I haven't checked it lately, but I thought it was like $600 on eBay.
Wow.
6-7.
See, I don't necessarily, because they're not making anymore. So maybe that's sort of a gray area.
They still made like 28,000. There's ample time to get in on that.
Because I mean, we were talking about that at the meetup. If I really want a Razor Crest, I'm going to wait till they come out and maybe wait another few months before people realize that you can't find them anymore. Yeah. Or they're all over the place, rather.
Yeah.
And just, offer somebody, $400 for it and see what happens.
Yeah, it's not as rare, I would say, as the sail barge.
And the sail barge has jumped, man, because I remember at the last IC, like 2 ICs ago, somebody had a sail barge, and I was really contemplating offering him retail for it because he couldn't get rid of it at $1,000, and now they're going for like $1,500 to $2,000, and people are getting it.
I sold mine during the pandemic, but I think I sold it right on the front side of the bubble because I didn't get as much as I could have today.
Right.
But I'm not complaining because I was able to buy that Black Series Boba Fett, the first one with the Han and Carbonite.
Oh, yeah.
With that funds. And that was a piece that has been I've been wanting for a while. So I was able to pick that up because of selling the sail barge. So I'm not complaining.
Right. It's a beautiful piece.
But Hasbro did have their May 4th panel, I guess, Fan Fest. I don't know what you would call it. On Monday. No, Tuesday. Tuesday was the 4th. And I just got frustrated because right out the bat, they come running out with the prototype Boba Fett, and I'm thinking to myself, repack. And I think that's a way to excite people, like, hey, look at this new Boba Fett. But all I saw was just repack. And then they go into Echo. Echo was releasing that 3-pack. I can't remember if that was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive or what, but I mean, I knew when they released the 3-pack of clones that each one was going to eventually get an individual release because that's just how they do things. Then they announced that Jawa, which is essentially a repack. And it's just like, come on, guys. What's with all the repacks? It's like greatest hits of this and greatest hits of that.
But I'm sure you're going to get there. But I think the greatest repack of the whole launch of May the 4th is the Mando helmet.
Yes, I'll get there.
Oh,
And I don't want to beat the dead horse, because it's like every time they do this, I'm complaining about repacks, but I'm also seeing like these petitions to make these figures and demanding Hasbro make these figures for the Tanaka sisters and one of the sail barge guys that they haven't made yet. And I'm thinking, we need a petition to tell Disney to back the hell off of Hasbro. They have to be running that thing like they're the mafia or something. Like, give us 55% of the profit.
right.
Because
Well, I don't think it's Disney. Well, because does Disney and Lucasfilm run independently?
Well, Lucasfilm is now obviously owned by Disney, and they have to do what Disney says. There's probably profit margins they have to reach. I know Disney is forcing everyone to go green and cut on carbon, and they're doing that across the board for all of their stuff. So, and when money's involved, I mean, think about like how much it costs for a Coke. It's $6 at Disney World, $5-6. They're passing that. They're inflating costs anywhere they can do it to make the most profit. And of course, they're going to do that to action figures. And with the sail barge, at the time the sail barge was sold, and I've said this before, they were doing a 20%, cut from all the stuff, cut of the profit. So anytime something was sold, Disney got 20%. So with the sail barge, they got $100 right off the top.
Wow.
Of that $500. So I just think that Disney's bleeding Hasbro dry, and it's just very frustrating because it's getting passed along to us. Excuse me. I had a cigar last night, so I think that's affecting me this morning. And now that I've said that, people are going to be focusing on my voice and all the faults in it. But
hey, my name is Jason.
Yeah, maybe I'll just go into Java voice this morning. The gaming, like for example, the gaming greats, Flame Trooper and Night Brother, which are GameStop exclusives, are $26. And at one point, these exclusives were paid for by the store with the idea that you would go in and maybe buy a video game because you're coming in for these action figures. But it seems like now they're passing along the cost to make these exclusives to the customers. So why not raise the cost of the figures in the first place? And, TVC becomes a $17 figure, but we're getting all new figures.
Right.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's got to be something with Lucasfilm and Hasbro, and because, like I said last time, man, Falcon Winter Soldier comes out on Friday. You have a new toy on Monday.
Yeah.
So something's got to be up with that.
I'm gonna get my complaints out of the way so we can focus on the positive.
Do it.
The other thing is that they keep beating this drum of the original 96 figures, and for the most part, most of these, with the exception, for a majority of these were the 96. You had your Death Star droid, your Endor Luke, and the Tusken Raider, plus Tebow, which wasn't released this past week for pre-order. And then you had Jawa and Echo. So 4 out of the 6 were part of this 96 thing. And it makes me wonder if they're trying to race to put all the 96 figures out and then be done with the vintage collection.
Maybe.
That's my worry, because it's just crazy that they keep pounding that drum and you keep seeing all these repacks and reconfigured figures. And although it's like $100,000 to make those molds, those aluminum molds,
right,
for figures, it's very costly. And if Disney is putting their foot on Hasbro's neck and suffocating them, then and we're getting more original figures with the Black Series. So I just think that Hasbro would prefer to do the Black Series. I don't know if there's some sort of profit difference, like Disney takes more from the vintage collection than the Black Series.
Well, I think go ahead.
No,
I think it's a cost thing, because they're getting $20 to $25 for the Black Series versus the TVC they're getting 10 to 15. So they may be looking at it as we're making $10 more on the Black Series and it costs the same to produce it. So let's make the Black Series and make more money.
Which brings me to the final question that I have, and this is not meant to be a complaint because it sounds like I'm complaining. maybe I am, but if we're honoring the Clone Wars, why not honor it with a continuation of that 3.75 line instead of the 4 6-inch figures that they're releasing?
Mhm.
Like the Clone War fans collected the 3.75, so why not add 4 new figures to that shelf?
Right.
Instead, we're just getting more Black Series. So that makes me feel like Hasbro really wants Black Series to be the line that people care about.
I mean, that seems to be what they're releasing, because didn't they do a line on G.I. Joe? And when you look at all the X-Men stuff,
Yeah.
those are all, that's the line they're releasing. And maybe they think that's what collectors want, which I think some collectors want. I like the Black Series, just because it's a more, to me, it's a more, got more accurate, points of whatever the movement or whatever.
Articulation.
Articulation.
It's got more detail.
Yeah. But then again, maybe I just haven't started looking at the 3 3/4, but in my mind, and that's just maybe I need to change the way I think. It's weird seeing a 3 3/4 figure with that much articulation and that much detail in it, where, Black Series is just normal for me to see it. But maybe that's just because I started, I've been collecting Black Series since they came out, and I just never focused on the 3 3/4 because that's always been vintage in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a legacy that they're carrying forward, and they have to carry forward.
Mm-hmm.
I think they would lose a percentage of the collecting population,
right,
if they abandoned that line.
Well, I think they would. Just now that the more I learn about it, the more I learn from you, and the more I learn from what the stuff Jerry did with the guys that are doing the book.
Yeah.
Plug the book because I don't remember it.
It's the TVC Archive edition book. You go to blumi.lk. No, there's no .com. .lk is the .com. You can order all your stuff there.
Right, but those guys, learning from all that, you learn that people are really passionate about that line. So yeah, they're gonna shoot themselves in the foot if they get rid of it.
Yeah. Anyways, with that said,
and how are they going to make really awesome figure? How are they going to make ships unless they're going to make $100 Black Series ships that are going to sit on the shelves for 6 months?
Yeah, that's the nice thing about the play sets, like this Tenerife 4 and the carbon freezing chamber and Jabba's palace. Like, that's just going to be very costly if they went and did that Black Series.
Right.
Although I would love them to do a Black Series HasLab with the Cantina something.
Right.
I want a Hammerhead.
Huh?
I want a Hammerhead.
A Hammerhead Black Series. I don't know why they haven't done that style of figure, but whatever. Maybe they think people don't want it. I don't know. But could you imagine a Black Series cockpit of the Millennium Falcon, like a full size freaking Millennium Falcon cockpit?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, was it Sideshow or Gentle Giant? One of them have done that with light up and stuff.
Wow.
It's pretty awesome. I think it was like 6 scale or something like that.
Jeez.
But as far as what was announced this week, Vice Admiral Rampart, which is from the Bad Batch. We haven't seen him yet in the first 2 episodes. There's the Clone Shock Trooper, which we did see in the first episode. Those were Walmart exclusives. Walmart was not on their game. Come 1 o'clock on Wednesday, they weren't available. One was available for me at like $120. The other one was $140. And then there was the Vintage Collection Death Star Droid, the Vintage Collection Endor Luke, and the Vintage Collection Tusken Raider. They became available like off and on from like 1 to 2. It was kind of crazy.
Right.
You have to stay on top of it. The Death Star Droid is not vac metallized, not like Hasbro's Transformers.
Huh.
Which is more evidence that the budget is cut and they have to cut costs.
Right.
Because when you walk the shelves and you see the Transformers vac metallized with that shiny metal, and then you just see the Death Star Droid with the silver paint, it's like obviously they're cutting costs because there's no reason why you do it for figure A but not figure B.
Right.
Endor Luke has a helmet that's sculpted on his head. I have no issues with that. I know some people do that. It's not removable, but we have 12,000 versions of this Luke, one with the helmet, one without. So whatever.
Well, it's also kind of a throwback to the vintage because that Endor, that Luke, the helmet doesn't come off.
Right. Then there's the Tusken Raider, who's got a weird face sculpt. He kind of looks swollen, but I still was able to get him. The Night Brother and the Flame Trooper from Gaming Greats Blackstop. Those are from the Jedi Fallen Order game. Those look pretty awesome. that Night Brother makes me want a Savage Opress
Right.
figure, because just looking at that, those guys were awesome in the game. Those guys scared me to a point where I was just like, every time I'd walk into a section, I knew they were very difficult villains to kind of get through, and I'm glad that they made those figures, I guess.
Right.
And then I was listening to a podcast, and Jason from Yak Face pointed out that there's 9 Rise of Skywalker Black Series figures, and then there's 8 Jedi Fallen Order Black Series figures produced so far.
Jeez. Maybe because people want that Fallen Order more than they would do Rise of Skywalker.
Maybe. And I also saw a rumor, and this is treated as a rumor, Jedi Fallen Order 2 comes out 2023.
Wow, that's a long way away.
Yeah, so we'll see if that's actually true or not. At this point, things shift and change, and I don't know what more we could say about the Retro Collection prototype Boba Fett that sold out in 2 minutes.
Yeah. I just want it because it's Boba Fett, and when I saw it, it was sort of like, crap, take my money. There goes $15.
Yeah. And then the non-exclusives, there was the Vintage Collection Tebow, which is an Ewok, obviously. There's the Off-World Jawa, which the HasLab version of the Razor Crest comes with the Jawa leader, Off-World Jawa leader, and he's got like a necklace around him. He comes with an extra egg, so there's 2 eggs. This one doesn't come with the necklace and comes with 1 egg, so I don't know.
Utini.
And then there's the ARC Trooper Echo, which he looks really cool. The card back was awesome. They did a lot of detail on like the pauldron where they gave it texture, and so I'm okay with that. That's a cool one.
Right.
And then there's the Death Watch helmet, which looks cool, but it's just like, this is their third or fourth time. So there was the Boba Fett Empire Strikes Back, the white version, the Mandalorian version, and now there's this Death Watch helmet, and it's the same old 4 times over. It's just, okay, guys, we get it. You're repacking things and trying to really, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, trying to maximize your return on this mold.
Right. And I have a problem with it, but I don't have a problem with it, but I'd have a less problem with it if all they did was when they redid it for the white. If they knew they were going to make 5 or 6 different helmets out of it, which, you know, as a Mandalorian fan, it's cool because I know people are going to buy them. They should have fixed the sculpted in damage of the original Boba Fett helmet.
Yeah.
Because that's not fixed on any of these helmets. And it everybody griped about it on the prototype because there's no damage. You know, it's a clean white helmet.
Yeah.
So that damage is carrying over into the white one, into the repaint, the dad fit, and now it's into the Death Watch.
Yeah, and they were explaining like in this version of the helmet, the viewfinder comes down. I'm like, guys, we saw this 3 times before. We know what this helmet has.
Yeah,
it's just got a cool new paint deco.
Yeah, exactly. I want them to do, and I want them to do a Sabine. I don't think they will, but yeah, you never know. Rebels is coming to the forefront. Maybe if she shows up in Ahsoka, they'll make a Sabine helmet, and then they need to do a Bo-Katan helmet. But you know, that's the same mold. They can hit it twice.
Exactly. That's how you get that kind of helmet is to let Hasbro know, hey, you could use this 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can do 3. Yeah, you're right. Because they can do Bo-Katan. They can do whatever the wrestler's name was, and then they can do the Sabine. So they can get 3 helmets out of that mold.
Exactly. It's just different paint applications.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the bots affected that prototype Boba Fett too. That Target exclusive. I gotta find a bot. I gotta hire a bot.
How do you just make one or what? How do you get a bot?
It's a program.
Uh-huh.
So you got to go like, I don't know if it's Reddit or something, and just say, hey, I need a bot to find me something, and they'll give you the program, and you just run the program and enter your information. So there's just like real quick, click, 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 and you got it.
Wow.
I think. I could be wrong.
Right.
And these are things we don't normally talk about, but I'll mention it. Gentle Giant had 2 Wrecker busts. Wrecker from the Bad Batch, which is probably one of my favorite characters so far.
Mm-hmm.
One with a helmet, one without. One was like an online exclusive, and there's a Biggs Dark Lighter bust. and a jumbo Darth Vader action figure kind of concept from Ralph McQuarrie.
That
from
one
his
looks pretty
drawings.
cool.
Hot
it's-
Toys. Go ahead.
Well, no, because it's just got that blue and black, and it's too multicolored, so it's a different
Yeah.
take on Vader.
The helmet's a little different too than what we got.
Okay.
Because it's got that thinner breathing area, like it's more like elongated and there's sharper angles, and so it's a little different. Hot Toys had a 1/6 scale Echo and Quill from The Mandalorian, Echo from Clone Wars.
Mhm.
Let's see. And then it's more complaining. I think I'll skip that.
You can complain. Do it. Let's hear
No,
it.
Target had all of their Star Wars stuff on May 4th on sale for like 25% off, but nothing was in stock.
I love when that happens.
It's just like, what the hell, guys? Why bother?
Right.
And then Disney Plus dropped the 2 new shows of Biomes and Vehicle Fly Through on Disney Plus, so that you fly through the Millennium Falcon, and then you just like fly over Tatooine and different areas of the Star Wars universe. Did you check those out?
I have not. I need to. I just haven't sat in front of the. If I've been. We discovered The Handmaid's Tale, so I've been watching that and then catching up on Bad Batch. And Handmaid's Tale is just so effed up. You just have to keep watching it.
Yeah.
So, but no, I haven't checked those out. And I've been watching the freaking Mighty Ducks because
I
huh?
I haven't got there yet.
It's good. It's one of those where it's a family show. I mean, it's good enough to where, they did a good job with it because adults like it and the little kids like it too. It's like everything Disney does. It's just a good show.
Yeah, I'll get to it eventually. Maybe I have a vacation coming up in a couple weeks, so maybe I'll take some time to watch that. But then, but that Biomes show where they fly over like Tatooine and stuff, it reminded me a lot of Soarin'. It was a lot slower though.
Uh-huh.
But I was thinking, like, if we did Soarin' over Star Wars, that would be an amazing ride.
Hey, there you go. That's the new concept for the Batuu ride.
Maybe it's not as fun and as exciting as Rise of Resistance, but I mean, it would still be awesome just to fly over Endor. And you don't see Endor. You see, they start on Hoth, if I remember right.
Oh, wow.
And it's almost like you're flying over it during the battle. You fly over like the Jawas at one of their stops. You fly over some Banthas. You fly over, I don't know if it's Owen or Luke flying in the land speeder. But then you get to the part where, like, I think it's episode 4 of The Mandalorian, where he's helping those people on the planet from the pirates, and there's the AT-AT or the ATST with the red lights.
Uh-huh.
That thing, like, it's like a drone that just kind of circles around that village for like 2 or 3 minutes, and you get to the point where it's like, okay, nothing's happening. I thought maybe the ATST would come out of the forest or something,
Mm-hmm.
but that doesn't happen. The Razor Crest does fly by, but that's about it. But that's cool. It's worth checking out once.
Right.
That's it. That's all I have for the news.
Right. The lightsaber. We saw the working lightsaber.
We saw that, and we saw that there was a special Leia and Luke lightsaber that was released at Disney parks.
Yeah, I think you can still get those. I think you can get them like pre-order. They sold out because they limited it to 3,000 pieces at $378 a piece.
Yeah.
So they
for the
sold
pair.
For the pair.
Yeah.
Right, and it's really cool because it's got a case and a box. So the box is kind of modeled after the box that Maz Kanata has, and I think maybe the one. And it's to recreate the last scene of Rise of Skywalker where Rey buries him. And when you open it up, it plays the Skywalker theme, and it's a cool box. I don't know if it's worth $400, but I guess to have a limited edition lightsaber, it'd be cool. I don't know if they're going to re-release Leia's saber as a single because it's a badass looking saber. But yeah.
I don't think so. I think they were trying to, well, who knows? Disney tries to maximize profit. So
They didn't spend that much money just to make 3,000 of them.
right.
So maybe it'll show up in 6 months at the park and we'll be able to get it if we want it. But like I said, that lightsaber looks awesome. I want to know what that blade's made of, and I want to know if you can actually swing it around, or is it just igniting and that's all you do with it?
Well, it's only in the hotel, so I'm thinking it's just part of that VR experience, and that you can't take it home.
Right.
That's my thought. That it's just, I think it damages too easily or something like that. That's just a guess.
Yeah.
And they would be upset if people took it home, and then they'd have to start replacing things and parts, and it's just better if it's just part of that experience, I think.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of the Star Cruiser, did you see any of the mock-ups of it?
Was it mock-ups of? Yes, I did. Yes.
Yeah. Well,
'Cause
there was both.
Yeah, there's part of the cruise that there's a
Oh,
bar coming to one of the cruise ships.
I want to go on that cruise just to go in that bar.
Yeah, that cruise kind of shows how Disney's thinking right now, because it was just like there's a Beauty and the Beast bar, there's a Star Wars bar, there's a Marvel something or other. It's just all IP based.
Right. But it's going to be cool because apparently that Marvel experience is it's dinner, but it's totally interactive. So I don't know what's going to happen during dinner, but I guess it's dinner and a show, so stuff's going to happen while you're eating dinner. So it may be cool. And that Star Wars bars apparently it's going to dock wherever, it changes every night. So you're docked in front of or above another planet, and you'll get to see, the different planets. And
Yeah.
it just, that whole cruise ship, it's going to be 2 or 3 years before you're going to be able to get on it, but
Or afford it.
yeah, or afford it, because they're doing 2-story suites in there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's going to be ridiculous, because a normal Disney cruise is $3,000 or $4,000 for 2 people. Because I tried I almost had the wife convinced, because her 40th is coming up in July, and before COVID, we were seriously looking at going on a cruise, and I was trying to talk her into Disney. And everybody who has ever been on a Disney cruise, they're like, yeah, it's Disney, but it's top notch. You can do the Disney stuff, or you could not do the Disney stuff, but they're going to treat you, like royalty when you're in there.
Right. Nobody walks away from a Disney cruise feeling like they had a bad experience.
Right. So speaking of cruises, the Star Cruiser gets pushed to 2022.
Yeah. Which again is probably priced out of that one too.
Yeah. I want to at least show me how much it's going to be, because I keep seeing all this stuff, and, you're seeing the concept art, and you're seeing more and more about it. And it just, as a Star Wars fan, that's what I was hoping Galaxy's Edge was going to be, is this what the Star Cruiser is looking like it's going to end up being.
Right.
The one thing that I saw that kind of got me a little bit perplexed is now they said fans are encouraged to cosplay. So does that mean you don't get the uniform when you walk in anymore, or you're going to have to bring your own cosplay? How are they, did that something change?
Yeah, that's a good point, because you were supposed to be issued some sort of clothing uniform.
Right.
Which is part of the experience that you could take home.
Oh, wow. You got to take those home?
I thought so, because they're not, I don't know. I thought that was part of the experience. Don't quote me.
Right.
Because my mind is not as strong as it once was. But I thought that was part of it.
I still want to do it, but it's going to be one of those where it's going to be where you can spend 2 days at the cruise, or you can spend a week at Disney.
Well, it's like a 2-3 day experience at Disney.
Right. But you're locked in that Star Cruiser for 2 days.
Yes. And then you would move off property, or not out of that hotel, and go to another hotel for the rest of your time.
Right.
But I thought that they were going to give you clothes so that when you go into Batuu, you're still kind of in that environment, that Star Cruiser environment. You're still playing out those roles or the missions or whatever they give you.
That was the plan. And when they said encourage to cosplay, that kind of threw me off a minute, because that was sort of the big draw. Like you were supposed to get a uniform. You were supposed to, here's some clothes, you dress Star Wars for 2 or 3 days.
Because you can't show up as Boba Fett or Stormtrooper or Darth Vader and then walk out in a Batuu. They're not going to let that happen.
Right. Unless they just know, these are VIPs, and
I don't know.
No telling.
These people are paying $15,000 a night. They can dress like whatever they want.
Right. Yeah, we'll see. And then speaking while we're on Galaxy's Edge, they released some new merch. They're do the plush figures. They did a Darth Maul, a Jar Jar, and a Doc Ondor. Yeah, and they did a Blue Loath Cat, and they did a Meerkat. And apparently now there's Dio is available. The Droid Depot is like a pre-made droid.
Oh, okay.
And they didn't.
Okay. That's my Dio impersonation.
And there's
great. All right, I'm done.
And they didn't announce this, but there's a mug that was sitting with them that looks like that has a Mythosaur skull on it. So I don't know if that'll be I don't know what's going on with that mug. They didn't say anything. It's just sort of sitting in the background. So I may have to go figure out what that drink is and buy one.
I'd be interested in that Doc Ondor stuff plush thing.
Yeah.
They also released that R2 R2 Rainbow for Pride Week or Pride Month at Disney. It's an R2 droid that's got all the colorful colors of the rainbow on them.
Yeah. The Pride stuff was strong with Disney this week too.
Yeah.
They were releasing a lot of that.
So that's it for news, I think.
Yeah.
I have a quick market watch.
Do it.
Last week you asked for the price of an animated Wicket, and depending on the eBay auction, you find it's between $308 and $345.
All right.
And then I did a Power of the Force Boba Fett from 1996, and he's going for about $650 to $13. But I did see that there was the half circle variant, so his gloves had like black dots on it, and there's a couple variants with half circles instead of full circles, and that was selling for about $35, which had I known I would have bid on that because I need that one. That one started my carded collection. That was once valued for like $75, so I just assumed it'd be like in the $150 range, but seeing it for $35, I might try to watch that.
Right. Well, just watch eBay, man. It'll pop up again.
Let's see, CW44, which is Ahsoka, and a lot of people think that's the definitive version of Ahsoka. That's selling for about $208 to $250.
Mm-hmm.
Comparatively, CW45 Anakin, which is the next one in that line, he's selling between $15 and $30.
Well, but everybody loves her some Ahsoka.
Yeah. But there's also a CW45. It's a white box. It's Palpatine in Clone Wars kind of aesthetic. He's selling for $138 to $250. Whoever got that 138, it seemed like it was a pretty decent quality box. So they got a steal for that Palpatine.
Nice.
A min on card 77 back Emperor sold this past couple days between $80 and $177. That $80 one seemed like it had a very yellow bubble on it. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing that happened, Amazon dropped that there was more Galaxy of Adventure figures. There was a 2-pack with the Mandalorian and the Stormtrooper.
Right.
So I picked that up. It was only $15, but I went back and looked at Ahsoka because I didn't get that one, and I thought maybe I can grab one from Entertainment Earth. Not anymore. And she's selling for about $40.
Wow.
So that's the market watch for this week.
Yeah, I thought about picking up that. If I'd have seen that 2-pack for $15, that's a good deal, because when I saw it, it was $20. But I also looked a couple of days afterwards. Yeah.
So that's the news, that's the market watch, and that's the weekly report.
Awesome.
How long have we been on here for?
Yeah, we're at 50 minutes, dude.
Wow. We haven't even talked about the Bad Batch.
Yeah, let's talk about the Bad Batch real quick. I mean, we don't have to do a shot for shot redo of it, but
okay.
I mean, what's your thoughts on it? I mean, I the first episode I loved. The second episode was sort of like a filler to me, but let's talk about the first one first.
Let's say first of all that we're talking spoilers.
Yes.
And fan theories. I have a big theory, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone. And if what I have to say is true, I think it'll affect the rest. I think it'll affect the twist in the show.
Let's hear it.
Well, I'll say it towards the end so people.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
But I thought episode 1 was amazing.
Yeah. Did you? How long did it take you to realize who that young Jedi was?
30 seconds.
I had to Google it. I heard, as soon as I heard, I'm like, wait a minute. And then he lit up that lightsaber, and I'm just like, oh, goosebumps.
Well, yeah, I knew from the, what's her name? Depa Billaba, who's the Jedi Knight who was Caleb Dune's Padawan learner, trainer, whatever you want to call him.
Right, his master, basically.
His master, yeah. I knew who was coming when I saw her. We've also saw that in the Kanan comic. I just spoiled it, but so that was Kanan Jarrus. And we also saw this scene play out in the Kanan comic, kind of similar, but the Bad Batch wasn't there.
Right. And people were kind of griping about that. I was reading an article about how they retconned it. But it is what it is.
Who cares? Good Star Wars is good Star Wars. Shut up and enjoy it.
Exactly.
But yeah, that was fun. That was a pretty good nod. The voice kind of threw me off a little bit.
My wife even said, she's like, that's not the right voice for Kanan.
Well, it's Freddie Prinze Jr. He was just I'm just trying to do it up here. I'm still young.
It
But
was
it's just
bad.
like, yeah.
Wow. At least they got Freddie Prinze. It was so bad I didn't even realize that was him.
It was him just trying to be young. But yeah, that whole scene set up not only the show, not just that episode, but the entire show, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But I loved the relationship between I loved how we're now in a broken universe, that everything has changed and it affects every single character. And there's a real sense of loss.
Yeah.
Loss for what was, loss for the brothers, because the clones kind of considered each other brothers. What are you gonna say?
No, I'm just agreeing with you.
Oh.
It's cool. I really, because I really enjoy seeing Order 66 from the other points of view that they've been showing it.
Yeah.
That they showed it in the season 7 of Clone Wars, and now they're showing it again in Bad Batch, and you saw it in Jedi Fallen Order. I enjoy seeing the individual effects of Order 66.
Yeah. There's also the loss of the clones, and what I mean by that, each clone, when they first came out of the quote pot, they kind of looked exactly alike, and then they try to differentiate themselves by giving themselves names: Fives, Echo, Rex. They have different hairstyles. They have different deco on their armor. They try to be different. They try to be separate so that they have a unique voice, that they're not all just, the same person. They try to be individual. And when Order 66 came along, it erased everything. So there was some loss there as well.
Right.
They're all, just drones. They're basically the new battle droids.
Yeah, I did notice that it did seem like when they were in Camino, they all were, same haircut. Now definitely now they're all clean. The uniforms are all clean. Yeah, I noticed that.
One detail that I did pick up after Order 66, when they do return to Camino, all of the Bad Batch are walking the hall without their helmet on, except for Crosshairs.
Oh, I missed that. Or I didn't pay attention to it, but yeah.
Yeah, he's still wearing his helmet like the rest of the clones for a specific reason, obviously. It's
right.
Foreshadowing the choices he makes.
Yeah, I did think that was, I don't know if you want to skip ahead to that I don't know, because you've only seen him for like 3 episodes in the 7th season of Clone Wars. So I think it's kind of setting up for something. It's setting up for something big, and maybe it'll be a, come back to the right side or whatever. Because now they were starting to talk about the chip and everything. So maybe they'll figure stuff out and maybe bring him back. But
yep,
it's definitely setting up for something.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't care about the Bad Batch in season 7 of the Clone Wars, and I think it was more because I'm like, all right, let's just get to the Ahsoka Maul stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just like filler, maybe time filler to get to that, and I'm just whatever. I mean, some of that was fun. There was a couple scenes in that arc that was fun, but when this came along, I'm just kind of like, all right, let's see what this is about, and then I got into it right away. I thought it was very rich storytelling. I love the dynamics. I love how Hunter and Crosshairs kind of go further apart with each other as the story progresses.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're supposed to be brothers. They're supposed to be a well-oiled machine collectively, and that's just not the case anymore.
Right. Well, that's because Crosshair is still thinking, following orders, and he doesn't understand it. But, and going back to him just following orders, it makes you realize they did a really good job of showing why Kanan hated clones. Because, Hunter's trying to save him, whereas Crosshair is like, I'm going to kill him because that's what I'm getting told to do.
Right. He doesn't know who he can trust.
Right. And then him jumping that ravine was awesome.
Yeah. I loved the speech from episode 3, the Emperor.
Yeah.
They used like the exact same clip from that. They were just showing a different point of view of all the clones watching it, and I love that. I love how the Imperial March comes on as soon as they say the First Galactic Empire. All the clones cheer that except Clone Force 99.
Yeah, they don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh.
We meet Omega.
Yeah.
I guess you got to say it with the New Zealand accent. Omega.
Have you seen the memes of her grown up? And it's basically the Tamara Morrison with the blonde wig on.
It's hilarious. This is just awesome. But yeah, we meet Omega, who is the 5th. We learn that there's 5 enhanced clones, and Omega is one of them. I loved how Tarkin is there essentially to shut down the program, but he sees some potential in them, but he needs to test their potential. So they go to that training facility, which we've seen before in the Clone Wars, and they're so effective that they're so effective at the obstacles that were put in front of them that Tarkin's like, all right, let's use live rounds, and they pull out some Dark Troopers.
Was that Dark Troopers?
Yeah, it's the early versions of the Dark Troopers. So we've seen the Mandalorians more enhanced, stronger, because it's more difficult to destroy those Dark Troopers.
Uh-huh.
I mean, Mandalorian was trying really hard to beat the one.
Right.
So you have 4 enhanced clones that kind of take these guys out, no problem. But yeah, those were Dark Troopers. You can tell by their face.
Okay, I'll have to rewatch it and pay attention.
Yeah, they're Dark Troopers. But that was kind of cool to see Tarkin test them physically, and because they lived, he's like, all right, we're gonna break them now. We're gonna send them to find some refugees that he needs to take out. They called them like rebels. He didn't call them rebels
because I don't know what insurgents. Yeah. Because I don't think they know what to call them yet.
Right.
And then
they are rebels.
Right. Oh, and then you hear that voice. And I was just like, son of a...
Saw Gerrera?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you hear Saul's voice, you're like, damn.
Yep. That was cool too. But it did feel like we're going to try to... I don't know. It felt like this episode was longer than it needed to be.
Yeah.
And it felt like this was like a detour from the plot, even though it's all related and stuff. It just felt wrong. I don't know what I'm saying. Forget it. But anyways, it was still fun to see young Saw, and it was fun to see Hunter kind of make the choice that, no, this is wrong. I'm not going to kill innocent people. He's not, following orders. He's not programmed the same as other clones, so he's obviously not what Tarkin was looking for.
Right.
And then, yeah, we learned that Omega is a special clone, but we don't understand why just yet.
I want to know who she is. People, who was a fan theory? I forgot. I'm interested in that. Who do you think?
Right,
I can't think of who I think she is right now.
Omega?
Yeah.
So here we go. Here's my fan theory. She is a Force-sensitive person that the Kaminoans were trying to push maybe the limits of what they can do. And somehow they were able to get her to be Force-sensitive because she sits down next to Crosshair at one point and she says, "You're angry." She can sense that he's angry. I just think that she's Force-sensitive. The Empire had trouble cloning the Emperor and having him have Force abilities, which I guess is explained in the Rise of Skywalker book, that Rey's father did not have... he was a clone of the Emperor, but he did not have the power, the Force sensitive. He didn't have the ability to manipulate the Force. So the Empire's having trouble with that. That's part of the reason why I think they wanted the child, is to try to figure out how to make that work, because they had trouble cloning to the point. And when you go to Exegol, you see that vat of all those Snokes, and those were all rejects because they didn't have the Force sensitivity.
You're right.
And so I think that the Kaminoans are expert cloners, and they were able to figure out how to make a Force-sensitive clone, and I think that's what Omega is. When you go back to that first scene of episode 1, it's Hunter making a decision about a Padawan. Do I let this one go? Or do we follow orders? He decides to let it go and help it get away. He's protecting it, and I think that's setting up the entire arc of this, maybe season 1, that Hunter is protecting a Force-sensitive child.
Right. Do we really want to see that again, though?
I don't know. I mean, yes.
Yeah. Hey, if it works, it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. God, I'm trying to think who. And I don't know. I don't want this to become more fan service, but maybe it will, because I know we're jumping ahead into the second episode. But at the end of the
Go ahead.
Well, at the end of the first one, they're like, "Oh, I know a guy on this planet," and I didn't catch the planet. And for me, it's hard to remember unless it's like Tatooine. Then
They said J19 was the planet.
Okay.
Whatever that is.
Right, exactly. So you don't know what they're talking about, and then when they get there, it's the clone trooper from Clone Wars that's hiding. So I thought maybe they were already going to bring the sharpshooter in for Mandalorian.
Oh wait, this was in Cut. I think the clone was Cut.
Okay.
I think that's the name, because it was Cut and Sue.
Right.
So I mean, that's like Cut and Sew.
Right.
But I think was Cut in another episode of the Clone Wars?
There was I don't remember if it's from Clone Wars, or I don't remember where it's from, but it's got to be Clone Wars, because it's too, hell, it might have been Rebels, but it doesn't make sense if it's from Rebels, because he would already moved.
Yeah.
But I remember him from something, and I'm assuming it's Clone Wars.
Okay, cool. I like the interconnectivity.
Right.
I don't know if it's fan service. I think they're just. I don't think that's fan service. It's serving part of the story. They're trying to figure out what's going on, and they know one ally.
Right. And then he even threw in that, Rex was here yesterday.
Yeah, I like that a lot too, personally. I like how all these clones are just trying to figure out what the next step is, and they go to this one friend that they had who's Cut.
Okay.
Be interesting if you were next to Cut and he says, execute Order 66. Does he flip? Or is that something that only is activated through the Emperor's voice?
Huh. Or did he pull? Well, no, because did they know about the inhibitor chips at the time? So
no, that was late in the Clone Wars that they figure that out, and they take it out of Rex.
Right. It's interesting.
Yeah. I did like the first one. I thought that was stellar. The second one, like you said, kind of felt like filler. We're just trying to establish Hunter's commitment to Omega.
Right.
And that's what happens in the end, that we're family. And that's Star Wars is family, so they're starting to form a family.
Right. And that sort of has always been Dave Filoni's MO, because he did it in Clone Wars, he did it in Mandalorian, he did it in Rebels, where you have like one really awesome episode, and then you got a filler, quote unquote, episode, and then you'll have like 2 or 3 awesome episodes. So that's what they do. Yeah,
it's very close to the Mandalorian, like you're hinting at.
I did think it was interesting that the first episode was almost dead, started off just like Clone Wars, and then the second episode there was no announcer or anything.
Yes, absolutely. I made note of that too, but it was interesting that, like you saying, the narrator it was just like, we're picking up with the Clone Wars, and then execute Order 66, and the whole show changes.
Right.
I just said what you said, so if
you but you said it in a different way, and you didn't think about it, and I didn't even think about it, because it is, as soon as Order 66, it's a different show.
Yeah, but I liked how the opening starts with the Clone Wars logo and burns away to the Bad Batch logo, and it's just like, this is a continuation, but this is now focusing on the Bad Batch. I did like the animation, but it did feel cheaper. It felt like the animation was more in line with, the animation felt like it was more in line with Clone Wars, but the coloring was closer to Rebels, where it was more texturized. If you could see like the brush strokes on the characters, it wasn't as rich, I think, as the Clone Wars. So again, Disney cutting costs.
Right. But it was better than animation than Resistance.
Yeah, the cell stuff, which I'm not a fan of.
Right.
Except if it's The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker.
So I mean, yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes. Where did you hear 16 episodes on this?
It's floating out there on the internet.
That's amazing to have 16
Yeah.
episodes of this. Or what were they running in Clone Wars?
I think it was a full season of like 20, 23.
Okay. Well, then maybe I'm just thinking I'm so used to seeing the live action stuff with The
Yeah.
Mandalorian where you
Yeah.
get 8 episodes that 16 of this is like, holy crap, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah. I like seeing the wild Nexu from episode 2, Attack
That
of the
I thought
Clones.
was cool.
I like seeing the green snaggletooth.
Yeah. There's definitely some good Easter eggs in it, I thought. Yeah, and when I meant fan service, it would have been, as far as them going back to that guy, I just don't want it to be like all of a sudden here's Luke and there's
Right. You don't want the
Leia.
greatest hits. And
Yeah. If they're gonna do fan service, pull some stuff out the back, pull some stuff out the EU, stuff that we hadn't seen before. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, Filoni seems to, I mean, yeah, they seem to be pulling from what has been done before with the Mandalorian. I don't know. Yeah. Let's try to get some new ground here, I guess is what you're trying to say, and I think I'm saying it too.
Right. I mean, it'd be cool if we saw, well, no, because Ahsoka would be old at the time. Yeah, I'm getting my time frame screwed up because this is after Clone Wars and Ahsoka disappeared, so
Yeah.
you're not going to see her.
No,
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a Ahsoka free show.
I wonder, they may mention her, but hell, I wonder, it'd be cool if they ran into Rex and stuff at the end. It's going to be set up. I think it's going to be fun. It'll be a fun show. It'll be a good way to kill a half an hour.
Because they mention Rex, I would assume Rex is coming back some point.
Right.
That's my guess.
So and then I'm curious to see what they're going to do with the Hunter Crosshair arc. And it was, go ahead.
No, go.
No, I did like the fact that Crosshair, as soon as he changes to the Emperor, to serve the Emperor, he has a whole new uniform, which is black, and it's just a badass looking, just black and gray, no red, no highlights on it. I thought that his new uniform was pretty awesome looking.
I didn't pick up on that.
Or maybe I need to rewatch it.
Maybe
it just seemed to me like it was a different outfit. So he was more like I'm special, but now I'm with the bad guys.
Yep. And then he's probably gonna get a specialized team to go hunt the Bad Batch and find Omega. And I wonder if he learns that Omega is force sensitive, and he's just like, we've got to follow the orders. An order's an order. We have to kill all of them, and that includes Omega.
Right.
And Hunter will probably sacrifice his life to save Omega, and she lives happily ever after on Tatooine.
Right. As Luke's girlfriend.
Right. And then she becomes Mara Jade.
Now, if she had red hair, that would be the total giveaway, but
she dyes it red.
Yeah. I dye it blonde, but I'm really a redhead. Oh, Jesus.
I liked at the end of episode 2 how Wrecker, who's again my favorite, was pumping iron with the gong droid.
That was great. That was a great Easter egg.
Where did the gong droid come from? And how awesome is it that he's using it to do some curls? Wrecker's my favorite.
He's a really cool character.
He's a bull in a china shop.
Yeah. They've all got different personalities. I kind of feel bad for Echo because all the crap he went through, but then again, he's got all these enhancements. I did love the fact, did you hear the fact that where he goes, you're more man or more machine than man? I thought that was a cool throwback to callback to episode 1 or episode 4 rather.
Yeah. Tying in original Star Wars. Yeah, I love that. I love that he's got the Lobot thing around his head too.
Yeah.
Which means that he could probably be controlled at some point by crosshairs or something. We finally lose Echo.
Oh man.
I don't know.
I don't think that, I think it, from what I can tell from those, it's not really, I mean, I guess you could control them, but it's just sort of a enhancement to where you're now part of a computer versus being more of a controlled.
Right. Yeah.
So now you've got a computer on your head.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we're, I hope I don't know. Part of me, if we're gonna do fan service, don't make it like, hey, we're doing fan service. Kind of like make it hidden. And if we see Obi-Wan or we see Luke, to where it's, well, we're not gonna see Luke because he's a baby.
Right. I don't want to see Luke. I don't want to see Obi-Wan and Anakin. Although, did you see Matt Lautner said he's not done as Anakin?
Yeah.
He's working on something. I don't think it would be this, because he's obviously Darth Vader by the time that this happens.
Right.
It'll be interesting to see if we see Darth Vader.
You're gonna see. I have a feeling you're gonna see Darth Vader eventually in this, because we've already seen the Emperor, we've seen Tarkin. Darth Vader's right around the corner, or maybe he was using the bathroom when the Emperor was making his announcement.
Where was he? Do we see? No, he was on Mustafar.
Okay.
You need to watch episode 3 again, sir.
I do. I've put him away, and I need to rewatch him. No, was it?
He was on Mustafar.
Okay.
He was destroying the Separatists
Gotcha.
around the time that the Emperor was claiming victory.
Yeah, I've kind of forgotten. I've kind of forgotten about the prequels, but yes, I probably, with everything going on. Actually, when I rewatched Clone Wars, or when I watched Clone Wars, it made me want to go. As soon as I was done with Clone Wars, it made me want to go dig out Revenge of the Sith.
Did you ever read Darth Plagueis?
No.
That was an amazing book.
I probably got it because at a point I was just buying books in bulk just to buy them.
Yeah, spoiler alert, it ties into episodes 1, 2, and 3 really, really well. It explores the dark side. It kind of explains how Padme dies in a way, if you put 2 and 2 together. But basically, the Emperor, and this is not canon anymore, so this book came out, and then Disney's like, we're erasing all that. And I'm like, well, can you just keep this one? This one you just released 2 months ago was awesome. But basically, the Emperor was an apprentice right up until the part where he declares the Galactic Empire, and that's when he kills his master. Plot twist. Hello?
And his master. Hey, I'm here. Oh. I'm listening. I'm just trying to think what to say. And his master was Darth Plagueis.
Darth Plagueis, yeah. It's awesome. It's a good book. So if anybody's looking for a book from Legends to read, I don't know if Darth Plagueis doesn't get the love that it deserves. I thought it was a really, really well done dark side book.
Yeah. Well, any of the there's some bad Legends books, but they're all good. It's all fun. It's Star Wars.
Yeah, but that writer, he also wrote the Tarkin one. His name is escaping my mind, and he's a really good writer when it comes to Star Wars. But just wanted to thank Rock and Rico for the iTunes review.
Yes.
Appreciate the love.
It seems, and now I don't know if you've noticed, but everything's climbing. So thank you.
Thank you
We're
for
hitting
listening.
100. We're starting to hit 100 on everything.
We have a shirt on, what's it, TeePublic?
TeePublic. It is on the Facebook page, so look it up. It's kind of hard to find when you look it up on TeePublic because you have to put, to simplify it, enter in Smuggler's Galaxy, a Star Wars podcast, or Smuggler's Galaxy podcast, and you'll eventually see it. But you can look us up on the Facebook page, and I've got a link on it. We actually sold one. I didn't buy it. Did you buy it? Okay.
Yes, I bought it.
Well, there you go. There went my excitement.
Sorry.
So thanks, Jason, for buying the t-shirt.
Yeah, it's my design.
Damn it.
It's pretty narcissistic of me. But yeah, I got it. And then the magnets have been shipped, so I have magnets coming. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, we'll have some swag.
Yeah, swag. I'll be passing that out.
Yeah, have you been getting like a bunch of friend requests all of a sudden?
No, that's Facebook? Just you.
Okay. I don't know what the hell I did, but all of a sudden I'm having like 2 or 3 friend requests like a day. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to request it because it'll be good for the podcast. You'll have to see my podcast post and maybe listen to a podcast. But dude, it's working. I think that's how we got up to over 100 on the last one. Nice. What are we at? We're at 103 on the last episode. Nice. So, and 99 on the other one. So
I got better. My voice kind of stopped coughing and wheezing and all that stuff from my relaxing cigar last night. So
right. Yeah, I have a cigar that I bought one a few weeks ago, and I bought 2, and I've got one I got to smoke.
Yeah, after this past week, I was like, you know what? I deserve to sit out back, enjoy some whiskey. in the quiet. No kids bugging me. I don't have to race to a hospital or.
Dude, you've had a
Charlotte.
hell of a week, man.
Yeah. But, my mother-in-law was here to help us. I got my mom coming down in 2 weeks, so I had to figure out our schedule for recording. You're going to be gone Memorial Day, right?
Yeah, I'll be out of town Memorial Day. Is she going to be, well, right, Memorial Day time, so maybe we'll take a week off or record a week early or something.
I think recording a week early. I like doing those double episodes. I like having something every week.
Yeah, I do too.
Because when a podcast takes a week off, it like throws me off. So out of respect to listeners, like if I have a favorite podcast and they take a week off, I'm like, come on.
What happened? Why?
Well,
Yeah.
Well, my week's thrown off. I have habits. I have habits. So yeah, if we can record a double episode at some point, we'll have to figure out what we're talking about, or maybe we'll do some interviews.
Yeah, we do have. We're trying to get a couple of guys we know that are doing retail, and have stores and have storefronts and stuff to get their thoughts on
the market,
and how fun it is to have a Star Wars store and how to turn a hobby into a business. So that should be fun.
Yeah, we gotta figure that out.
Yeah, if you guys got any questions, email us at smugglersgalaxy@gmail.com. I want to thank Levi Waterhouse for doing our intro and outro music, and I want to thank Jason TK for doing our logos.
And I have to say, looking at that logo compared to other logos, ours, that looks fabulous. It looks professional.
Yeah. So
Good
if you
job.
need any graphic design, look him up on Facebook, Jason TK Sparrow. He's looking for some work. So, and he does good work.
He does.
All right, I think that's it, Jason.
Okay, this is the Mother's Way.
Yes, happy Mother's Day, moms. All right. Well, my thing died. There we
What
go.
died? Oh,
My
did you lose it?
No, my mouse died. It's
I
Bluetooth.
thought the computer died.
Oh,
Would it be on still?
Dude, that's my fear is losing this thing.